back to life. Done my time and served my sentence. Dress me up and watch me die. If it feels good, tastes good, it must be mine. Dynasty decapitated, you just might see a ghost tonight. And if you don't know now, you know. I'm taking back the crown. I'm all dressed up and naked. I see what's mine and take it.
All right, and with that music, you know that the unicorn has been summoned. Yeah, the unicorn. We're going with something totally different tonight, with a little different headset set on here because of my guest that's on here. We're going to have some fun. He is no stranger to the show by any means. Holds the record for the most times being guest on here, and is very proud of that as well. I'm bringing him back on here to go ahead and talk about projects, some of the stuff in his company, movies he may or may not like. It's a long list, but we only have about an hour on this thing, so we're going to try to condense everything down and make sure that everybody pays attention. There will be a test whenever we're done. So this is hell of a show, and in the hot seat tonight we have got Tom, and he is from Big Dog Inc. What's up, Tom?
Hello. So what is it? Is this 13?
This is 13. Yes.
Is that what we figured out? This is 13. All right. Well, that's good because
times.
we're about to be 13 years of publishing next year, so it all ties together.
There you go. It's all within the circle of life right there.
That's right.
Well, I mean, before we get started too far into this thing, go ahead and let us know, who you are, what you do, and where to find you. Just kind of give us that elevator pitch.
Yeah. So Tom Hutchison, I am the writer, publisher, art director, salesman, talking mouth on podcasts guy for Big Dog Inc. We've been doing this now for, like I said, we're going on to year 13. 2023 will be year 13 of publishing for us. We do about a dozen different titles, from horror to westerns to superheroes, fantasy, a little bit of everything. We have some new stuff coming, new genres, even like gladiator books and stuff like that coming. So always dipping my toe into new creative stories and genres and so on, while maintaining the Big Dog Inc. brand itself and all of the existing titles. Princesses versus Zombies being one of the newest, and it'll be coming back to you guys on Kickstarter in just over a week.
That is awesome. And we're definitely going to be talking about that one because of, it's coming up pretty quickly and everything. But we want to kind of discuss a little bit other things that go on with Big Dog Inc. Because, like you already said, 13 years of the publishing company brand right there with Big Dog Inc. That's quite a bit of time working on this and still having the following that you do. How do you build up the brand to the point where you have it now? How have you set the foundation to where it's so strong?
I don't know. Next question. I don't know. No, it's a weird question because all of the rules have changed since I started Big Dog Inc. Right. So if someone's coming into comics right now and they're trying to build their fan base, it is 100%, 300% different than when I started 13 years ago. Because back in 13 years ago, think about it. We didn't have half the social media stuff that we have now. Even things like Kickstarter were just, barely a thing. Facebook was barely a thing. So for me, when I started, I saw the value of moving myself out of, just my location. I was in California at the time. So, I was doing California shows and, kind of a little bit outside of that, like maybe Arizona and whatever, but not really very far. But I realized that in order to really sort of be able to grab a fan base that I had no access to, I had to leave California. I had to go. So in year one, I was going to places like Heroes Con in North Carolina, MegaCon in Florida. My God, where did we go? We went to Seattle, Emerald City. Like we didn't have enough books to do this. We were insane and stupid, but without those trips, the reality is without those trips, because we were in Diamond. So, I mean, we were selling books and we were in Diamond and people had some tiny minuscule awareness of who we were. But without those trips, I would not have met either the fans that latched onto the books and then helped the company grow from the states that they're in, nor would I have met a lot of the artists that I ended up working with, because if I wasn't at the cons, I wouldn't have been able to do the what do they call it? Just the oh my god, the face-to-face time, and just, hey, I'm Tom, and this is what I do, and let's do some comics. So the answer is multiple things, but the baseline to all of those things is consistency. You have to just keep talking all the time, whether you're on a podcast, whether you're making social media posts, wherever you do it, TikTok or Instagram or whatever. Just be consistent, and then ultimately you have to put out a good book. You have to put out a good product, because it doesn't matter how much you talk or where you talk, because if the product isn't good, if it doesn't resonate with whoever ends up buying it, there's far too much content for people to, not just say, well, it's not for me, see you later. Which is one of the advantages to what I do at Big Dog Inc. is we have so many genres. We're across virtually everything. So it doesn't matter what you like. Odds are I have something on the table that will speak to you, whether you like fairy tales. Okay, we got something for that. You like horror, we got something for that. You like kaiju, we got something for that. So that's a big part of it. And so early on with Big Dog Inc., we were expanding relatively quickly, and we were expanding in external ways. So it was never like, hey, we have Penny for Your Soul, we're going to do a Penny for Your Soul spinoff. No, it was, we have Critter, we have Penny, we have Legend of Oz. That was book 3. Book 4 was Ursa Minor, which we're celebrating 10 years of right now. Book 5 was Scheherazade. And then we started doing some spin-offs. We had Joan of Arc spinning off from Penny for Your Soul. We added Lights, Camera, Jungle. We added Kaiju Epic. We added Princesses versus Zombies. But you're talking about, 10 years of time to get all of that stuff out. So start with what is working for you. I'm not sitting here telling you to like suddenly expand all over the place, or do what's working for you. But the key is consistency of production as best you can, and consistency of just sort of existing, right? Like even your posts, it's not that your posts have to all be comic stuff, like comic stuff. It's like comic stuff, personal stuff, comic stuff, personal stuff. Like people like to get to know who you are as a creator. They like to know where all your inspiration and stuff came from. And oftentimes that'll connect you more. So like if you tell somebody, oh, I'm a Jaws fan, and then they're a Jaws fan, right? They're going to be like, well, if he likes Jaws, and I like Jaws, then maybe I'll like what this guy makes, even though it's not necessarily a shark book. So there's value in sort of, letting the personal side out, as well as, just pounding, I make comics.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that presence is definitely important to have on there. Like you said, they just know that you're alive, and that you're not only that you're working on the present things that are coming out in the future things, but that you're taking care of the customers as you're going along, because a lot of the times you just have to kind of let them know, books are out. I mean, you'll put a post up there and you'll be like, the mailman's breaking his back again today, and have, all these books stacked up against the wall that you're sending out. And people get excited about seeing that, because they're like, oh, hang on, because I ordered that, so I know one of those is mine. You start, trying to look for your label, which you'll never find. But, it's a fun thing to go on there and be able to know that whatever you're getting in there, is coming to you at some point. Now, there are things that happen that throw people back and, kind of delay things. I mean, there's a certain year that we don't discuss out loud, because, it's kind of like Bloody Mary. You say it so many times and it'll happen again. We don't do that. But with things that happen and everything, it's very important to keep that communication going. That's one thing that I've noticed with you, is you've always had that communication. And sometimes it's not always on the positive side. Sometimes you're like, well, bad news. This is what happened. I don't have any news to go along with this, but I at least wanted to give you the bad news. So how important is it to you to go ahead and keep not only the fan following that you got right now, but show what you're doing to the fans of the future as well? Because some people are looking whenever you never know, and kind of want to see how you're running the business.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, shit happens, man. I mean, it's just life. It's going to happen. You're going to stumble. Whether it's because something you did, or whether it's something external that you have no control over. There was one time where we had a printer that literally just disappeared on us, like overnight. Like we were in the process of getting books sent to this printer, and then they were gone. It's like, oh my God, like what just happened? So we got to find another printer. So things happen. Bad things happen. Sometimes tragic things happen. I mean, everybody's people, everybody has family. Even regardless of the COVID part. I mean, people just get sick, have accidents. I mean, things happen. And generally speaking, when you talk to your fan base about, look, guys, something happened. This is kind of what it is. Sometimes you can't talk about it. It's not your place to talk about other people's things, even if it affects you. That's not your place. But you can kind of just give the idea, like, something happened, guys. We're going to be behind for a while. Trust me. No one's happy about it, but this is a real thing. We got to deal with it, and we're going to deal with it. So, I think one of the things that kind of gets lost in all of this is from the buyer side and from the fan base side. I get it because I'm a buyer and I'm a fan, and I've dealt with Kickstarters and stuff, and they've been very, very late, and in a couple of cases I haven't gotten anything. So I understand. But I feel like sometimes we lose track of the idea that these are people making these comics. It's not Marvel, it's not DC, it's not some giant corporation, which, by the way, also fall behind from time to time. But somehow that doesn't matter. Anyway, we sometimes forget that these are people making these books, and in some cases, it's just a hobby. In some cases, they're literally trying to make a living out of it. I feel like we got to slow down a little bit sometimes and just kind of take a step back. It's comic books. I would say 9 times out of 10, anytime that you're probably kickstarting or backing something on Kickstarter, it's probably something that you already know the people. So you kind of have a better sense of like, look, it might be late, but it's going to be here, versus somebody completely brand new that's like it's their first ever campaign. That's far more of a risk. So we've fulfilled everything that we've done. We've been late, absolutely, for a litany of different reasons. But we always catch up. Like right now, we're caught up outside of the Critter toy, which is just one of those. This is our first time doing a toy, man. I don't know how this is going to work, but we're caught up right now, and we're working on 2013 stuff already, so that we can get well ahead of all of that and try and stay as on time as possible. But if something's happening and you're stumbling, just tell people, like, look, guys, this is the problem. This is the problem. We're going to get back on track as soon as we can. 9 times out of 10, maybe even 99% of the time, the people will be like, yeah, man, it's good. Take care of yourself. And when the books get done, the books get done. So, that's about all we have to say about that, I guess.
And
that's all I have to say about that.
And that's one side of the coin there. The other side of the coin that I want to kind of bring up is the fact that, whenever you're on there, you're getting people so excited about the new things that are coming out there. But, and we've discussed this on, I think, every single other show that I've had you on as well, is your way of marketing, because it is here is a pinch of the corner right here. So you can see this and get excited about this. And see, you're about to do something. Yep. There we go. So you have to get excited about things that are happening without giving any information.
Sure.
And for the most part, if you were to take the definition of what you're doing there, just put it to paper, people would be like, no, that's going to tick me off, is all that's going to do. But you have a way of just making it where it's fun and it's exciting. It's like, okay, I don't want to see a corner anymore. I want to see the full page.
Yeah.
Well, get on the Kickstarter when it launches in, a month, and you'll be able to see that.
Or join our Patreon and you get to watch everything be built from the ground up. The roughs, the sketches, the lines, the colors, you get to watch it all happen. Among other awesome perks of being a patron. But yeah, for me, I've always, those that know, we call it burlesque marketing. So we show you a little bit, but not the whole thing. And we want you to look at it and go, oh my gosh, that looks cool. I want to see the rest of it. Like, that's the whole point. I know a lot of people just toss it out. They're just like, here it is. And that's one way to go. It's fine. You'll get similar responses like, oh, that's so cool. But that doesn't necessarily like lead to anything. Like, everything you do should be a breadcrumb to what it is you're trying to do. So like, even this, like we have these, this is kind of how we do our general teasers is, we kind of do this close up portion of the cover, the logo on the other side, a little bit of description and stuff. And in theory, we're leading them to the Kickstarter so that they can see what it all looks like, when it's all finally like, boom, here we go. Or towards the reveal, or, when we're gonna do the reveal or whatever it is.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, I like that. I always thought that was interesting. From a consumer standpoint of my own, particularly with it, because it's art. It's not like we're selling a Cuisinart and it's like, here it is, here's the device, right? You want to show the device, but it's art, and so you kind of always want to be sort of teasing to the next piece of the puzzle. So yeah, I've enjoyed doing it, and we've kind of branded ourselves, because every time we do it, it looks like this.
Yes.
The colors might change, but it always looks like this. So it doesn't matter what we put up in this sort of structure of an image. It should always sort of remind people immediately, oh, that's a Big Dog Ink thing, because that's how they, market their stuff, at least early on before the reveals happen.
Exactly. And you're also one that you don't have the regular projects that happen just throughout the year, different scheduled times on there with, like, you have 3 projects per year or whatever, and they're your main titles. You actually have ones that are focused on particular days of the year, which has been, at first it was kind of odd. It was like, okay, why are we starting to do, because we have all these, I mean, there's a national holiday for everything. So I mean, you could do a book every day if you wanted to, or if you had the means to do so. But you choose some of the very different ones that are out there. And one of them that kind of stood out the first time that I heard about doing this was Goth Day. Goth Day started out, it was something that I saw that it was some great artwork in there. The story was awesome. I mean, you didn't let up on the story by any means that was in there, and you kind of kept it rolling on there. And then we've got, from Goth Day, we have with Princesses versus Zombies, which is what we're going to talk about now. That's actually based on National Princess Day, which happens, I believe, on the 18th, you said?
Yep.
So that's whenever you're going to launch this one here. So again, it's based on a national holiday. This is not a historically correct version of the holiday. Don't go there. It's all fantasy. But with this one here, it is about princesses who kind of take the work into their own hands and get them very dirty.
So it's about princesses versus zombies. It's kind of the pitch. It's like princesses versus zombies. It's kind of what it is. It was something that so Princess versus Zombies came from a weird place. Again, those that know me know that I really don't like zombie stuff. It's not my horror genre thing. There's a few things that I like, Zombieland and World War Z and stuff. There's a handful that I like, but for the most part, the zombie genre is just not for me. And so people would ask me at cons, they'd be like, okay, well then if you did a zombie book, like what would it be? And I'd be like, I don't even know. Because I just don't care enough to even think about it. And then I was at Baltimore Comic-Con one year with Jesse Witchman and the Buchanans, and we were at Hooters, and we were just talking about the con, and that came up again. And the question, well, what would you do? And I was like, if I did a zombie book, it'd have to be something so far outside the box, like princesses versus zombies. Like that was it. That's where it came from. And then that stuck with me, as a lot of things often do. Something just sticks with me, and it just sits in the back of my head until I decide to acknowledge its existence, and then I figure out what it is. And so I asked Jesse Witchman, I was like, Jesse, you remember that thing we were talking about? He's like, yeah. And I was like, so do you want to design some characters and let's just see if people care about what this is? So when we put this out, we didn't even put a book out. We were debuting the characters as art prints at Comic-Cons. So Cindy was the first princess, and we had an art print at C2E2. No, it wasn't C2E2. It was Keystone Con in Pennsylvania. We just put the print out. Like, here it is. Here's Cindy. And people are like, what is it? And I was like, well, this is Cindy from something that we're kind of, trying to work on. And the response was overwhelming. Immediately, it was like, well, where are the other ones? Again, burlesque marketing, right? Well, where's the other ones? Who's next? What else are you going to do? Like,
exactly.
Oh, okay. And so then we did another one. We did Mrs. White. We did another one, Bella Rose, and so on. Pocahontas eventually showed up to. And then, over the course of about a year of doing these things, I was like, all right, we have something. There's something here. People are interested enough to do this. And so in 2020, right at the height of the beginning of the COVID scare, everyone was dropping out of doing campaigns. And I was like, no, I'm going to launch this thing in April. And people were like, you can't do that. And I was like, no, yeah, I'm going to do this. And it ended up being our biggest campaign ever in money, in backers, just in enthusiasm. At that point we were kind of off. It was like with and a lot of the indie books we do when it's new, it's kind of like we're off to the races. Like, this is all right. We got a fan base. People are interested. People like it. Let's keep it going. Now, it's been a while because we had a lot of other stuff between that book and what we're doing now. We had the Legend of Oz 10-year anniversary. We had the Ursa Minor 10-year anniversary. Doing all kinds of other stuff. We had the Sand and Scales preview book come out. The It's Only an Island If You Look at It from the Water. The Shark book came out. So there's a lot of stuff that came in between. But now we're back to this because I wanted to get back to this. So November 18th, this will be issue number 1.5, and we name it that because this is going to be a sort of a short story that introduces our new princess. And then that book will lead directly into the full-size issue number 2, which will be 2023 next year. So that is sort of the current plan for the book. So yeah.
Well, I mean, to kind of show off some of the covers, we're going to be showing that here just in a moment. How many pages are we looking at on this 1.5?
It's just a mini story, like the very first issue, like we did a 0 issue. So it's just an 8-page story. Mm-hmm. This is a very short, easy campaign. There's only 5 covers. 6. We're not talking about that one yet. There's 6. Trust me, there's 6. Technically, there's more because we do have on Princess Day, the November 18th, only from noon Eastern time to midnight Eastern time. There will be what we're calling pretty in pink holofoils. And so basically it's the covers with a pink overlay for the holofoil. And those will be printed to order and will only be available on November 18th, 12 to 12. And then they get cut off and you can't order them again. So there are those super fancy editions as well. But otherwise it's just a 5 cover campaign, one for each of the princesses. Very, very simple. There are some other things that are available. Some of the other books that we do for Big Dog Inc. So if you like Princesses versus Zombies, maybe you like Antoinette, maybe you like Kaiju Epic, and so on. So we offer some of that stuff. You can, of course, get the combos that you want. If you want them all in one, just give me all of them. Click. We have the quick catch up. So if you just want the basic 0, 1, and 1.5, you can do it that way. So there's a lot of other stuff that we're going to do as well. But it's a very, very easy campaign, which is why it's only going to run 12 days. And then again, we will have 6 covers. The 6th will be on the final day only on November 30th. There's a reason. It is a significant anniversary of something crazy fun. And we're gonna dive in on it. I will tell you that Keith Garvey is doing it. And we'll tease that when it's appropriate.
Well, for right now, we're going to tease them with the covers that we've got. And as I bring these up, of course, we're going to introduce each princess because, they need introductions as well. And then let us know who the artists are that, worked on the covers on these. So we'll start off with the one who got you started on this, which is...
this is Cindy. This is done by Narciso Sousa, who is a first-time BDI artist. I've been watching Narciso for a little while now. He actually did another book for somebody that I got on Kickstarter too, which was funny. And I didn't know who he was. It just, there was no like, hey, I backed your book and now I found you, or I found you and now I backed your book. It was like this simultaneous thing. And then when the book came in, I was like, that's Narciso. What the hell is that? So it was a cool little synergy thing that happened. He did a great job here. This is Gat Melvin on colors. The fog and the car, and it's a great action pose. Super cool. And then you'll see there Chow Mahato and Chris Chua. Those are the guys that are doing the interiors of the book. So they are the guys that did the 0 and the number 1 as well. So it's a consistent art team. You're not getting like a weird, like, oh, I don't know who this guy is now. Like every issue changes. No, we have a consistent, every time we do a book, we try and be like super consistent as best we possibly can. So that when we eventually collect these things, and you've got like a trade paperback, people flip through it, it looks the same all the way through. That's very important to me. So yeah. So all the books are going to be just $20. All of the books, and that includes your shipping, by the way. We always have the shipping, just like it's just there. So it's not $20 plus $5 more. It's just $20. That's it. Oh, and all the books, normally we limit them to 150. We're limiting them all to just 100 copies now on this campaign. So this will be a very short run campaign. So do not miss out any of the books that you want to get. This is MR Gunn. This was the first guy I tapped on the shoulder. I've been working with him for a long time. His first thing for us was Goth Day back in 2020, our first covers for Goth Day. And I've been laying work on him ever since. So this is Mrs. White. You can see she's got her axe squarely into the tree there. Yep, pretty cool. CB Zane, who was part of the first Princesses versus Zombies book, is back. This is Bella Rose. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can see she's kind of like a glamour Hollywood belle princess. But the glasses are there not just for the costume. Our Bella Rose is actually blind. Yes. And so Beast down there, that is her seeing eye dog, guide dog. When I was designing the characters, I immediately, we wanted to do the glam idea. But then as we were doing it, I was like, this is how we're gonna play this. We're gonna add a layer to the character, and it's been interesting so far to do. I don't think that I've ever seen a blind person in a zombie movie. I'm sure it must have happened somewhere. There's too many zombie movies, but I've never seen one, and so I thought it was a really interesting concept, and to be able to sort of play around with that in the first book was kind of interesting. So yeah, so that's Bella Rose,
and that's definitely one that I will say personally that whenever I got my book, because I backed it and everything, and I got it, and then I figured out exactly how you did that, because that's one of those things that you were marketing out there, that she was there, she's wearing glasses, but nothing was ever said. So then whenever I opened up the book, started reading it, because by the way, busting a myth here, but you actually open these books up and there's more art and words. Amazing. I know it's ludicrous. I know, but it was awesome to see how you had correlated Beast, being that, because I was kind of like, how are you going to do, Beauty and the Beast on this one with her? But she was such a dainty princess, and it was like, what does that have to do with Beast? And yeah, that was great how that was correlated in there.
Well, and even in the book, like, it's not written like, oh, she's blind. Like, it's just, she just is, right? And hopefully, anyway, I wrote it in a way that insinuated that and sort of brought out, the character through her blindness. I wrote some stuff in there that, I won't give spoilers or anything, but I wrote some stuff in there that, she's just kind of living her life. It's not like it's a disability per se, right? Right. She's not like, Beast is there to help her, of course, but she's got trick-or-treaters, and she's, walking down to the car by herself, and she's, making jokes about stuff, and she's just there. But I don't like, it's not like, oh yeah, and she's blind, like to play that sort of agenda thing. It's just who she is. It's part of her character, and we'll keep expanding on that and how it affects a zombie world, or how the zombie world affects that, as the story goes on. So it should be interesting.
And then, of course, we have the one that you have behind your background. I have behind my background that's on the show background there. So we have Pocahontas here.
Yeah, Pocahontas. So Pocahontas, so this is the joke that's in the story. So basically, you look at it and you're like, why is that Pocahontas? And it's like, it's Pocahontas if she was a vampire. Like, So that's her costume, like her thought process, her cosplay, whatever it is. I'm going to Pocahontas for for Halloween. Pocahontas if she's a vampire, and so that's what we got there. So, and this is Isanetto Adamar. This is another new guy who's done a couple of books for us. Love his stuff. He and Elenia DiNapoli on the colors are an absolute force to be reckoned with. I mean, this cover is just filled with stuff. It's unbelievable. So, Pocahontas and her bow.
There's another princess we're going to go over here, but this is we're going to give a little bit of backstory on this one, because if you're a Big Dog fan and you've paid attention to some of the other stuff that's out there, then you've seen this page to know that this one was coming to this. So
so this is a page from Goth Day, from this year's Goth Day. It's become an annual thing now. So this is this year's Goth Day. And normally what we do with Goth Day is we take our existing characters and gothify them, to become their dark alternatives for this book. In this case, this book came out obviously before Princesses versus Zombies. So this is sort of the gothified version of our new princess, who's going to be part of this new book. Goth Day is out there now, so everybody's got this book. They know what's happening in this scene, but so this was a switcheroo. Like, again, I wanted to do something different, but this Goth Day was a very Princesses versus Zombies adaptation, Goth Day or Goth World adaptation of Princesses versus Zombies. So it was really fun to do. I think it came out great. So CB Zane on the art, Gat Melvin on the colors. They did the first Goth Day as well. What's funny is I'm looking at this and going, God damn it, I should have done something else here. That's the editor mind in play.
It's missing a shark.
I totally missed something here, but that's fine. No one will know what I'm talking about, but I see it, so it's fine. But yeah, so it was interesting to kind of to do a Princesses versus Zombies story in the goth world, and then of course we'll introduce this mermaid in Princesses versus Zombies that comes out next week. So,
which is right there.
So there she is. So this is a $10 pledge, because this is the standard book. So all of our standard books is like the A cover, like you go into the comic book store and you would buy your A cover off the rack, right? So that's why these are 10. And again, that includes your shipping, guys. Again, so keep that in mind. So Chow Mahato, Gat Melvin, there, so you can see it's issue 1.5, et cetera. So the Hot Tub Mermaid is debuting in Princess versus Zombies in basically 8 days from when we're recording this.
Now, this is an homage to one of your favorite movies, right? Hot Tub Time Machine.
100%. 100%. If you think it does not, you're crazy. You don't know me. There was no other way for me to do what I was doing without paying a little tribute to Hot Tub Time Machine.
So you just need her to hold a can of Chernobyl.
I will tell you, she does not go back in time. She does not escape the zombies with Chevy Chase and go back in time. That doesn't happen. But
see, that ruined it for me right there.
I know. Don't even bother. It's not even worth it anymore. Chevy Chase doesn't appear. I don't want it.
But I mean, it looks like a very fun, run on here. You said it's a smaller run that's here, a smaller comic. So it gives a little more of the storyline leading up to the next issue coming up next year.
Yeah, this is actually, again, not to do too much in the way of spoilers, but this is actually a prequel to issue 0.
Okay.
So it's just because of the way that the place where it lands in the overall storytelling.
It's
actually a prequel. So there is kind of sort of. So yeah, and then when you read the issues, you'll kind of see exactly where it lands. It's kind of like when we did the TikTok miniseries for Legend of Oz. Like, it stood alone as its own thing, but if you read the Oz storyline, you see where TikTok sits in the whole, linear story. So you'll see where this lands as well. But it is kind of a prequel or we'll call it an equal. It's not even a sequel or a prequel because it's an equal because it kind of takes place at the same time as number 0.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Now, everyone keep watching because we actually have we have an exclusive that has not been shown anywhere else. Tom has not done any burlesque marketing, nothing. This thing is going to be shown here in a little bit. A new cover that'll be coming out next year. July is what you're shooting for, correct? So
Mhm.
we're a ways out on this one. So we're going to bring that up here shortly. So stick around for that one. That's my burlesque marketing right there. You got to stick around to see it.
That's it. That's
Uh,
it.
but to go ahead and kind of go over some stuff that you've worked on, what is something that you have not worked on that you want to put in there right now? Because I mean, you've got such a diverse collection of different things that are available under Big Dog Inc. right now. What is something that you're definitely just chomping at the bit that you want to go ahead and start working on that you have not as of yet?
Oh, I'm dying to get to Sand and Scales. I am dying to get to that book and actually do the book because we just did the preview book,
Mm-hmm.
which was a stretch goal for our backers that pledged $75 or more for the last Ursa Minor, which will be shipping here in about a month.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get that free book. I'm freaking out because it looks so great too. Carlos Reno did the art. He's the Legend of Oz guy. Gap Melvin is doing the colors. So that team is back on a gladiator book, sort of a historical fiction gladiator book. So I'm dying to get to that book. I am so ready. I've been working on that thing for so long. It's been one of those things like Princess versus Zombies. It's just one of those things that's just back here. And finally it was like, no, it's time to go. And so we put the thing out and just seeing it actually alive now from these artists is like, God damn, I want to do this book. I'm ready for this book. So 2024, we will be focusing a lot on Sand and Scales.
Nice.
And then the other book that we did, which was another preview book, another backer kit preview book, or a backer preview book, was my shark book, which is it's only an island if you look at it from the water, which is my Jaws tribute book. And that one already is in fans' hands. And we had it at the con we were at Akron Comic-Con. And people were like super into it. Like they were like, yo. And I didn't really know. I didn't know what to expect because it's so different from the stuff that I do because it's like a story. It's not like, hey, here's a sexy girl doing a thing. It's like, no, it's just normal characters doing, shark world things. It's Jaws, right? It's literally it's Jaws. So I mean, literally it is Jaws. It is, but it isn't. It's in my mind, I've always had an idea of what Jaws 5 would be.
Mm-hmm.
And Universal doesn't care. So, I finally was like, I have to tell this story. So I did all of the appropriate modifications so that we're not on Amity Island. It's not the Brody family, except that it is, but it's not Universal. It's not, but it is, but it's not. To be very clear. It is, but it's not.
That's a legal disclaimer. It is, but
that's
it's
right.
not.
It is, but it's not. It's not at all. It's not at all, but it is. And so, when people got the book, I started getting messages like, yo, this is really cool. Like, when is there more coming? And I'm like, I don't know, because I got other things to do. I hadn't planned on doing any more. It was just sort of like, let's get it out there, like we did with Princess versus Zombies, the Zero. Like, let's just get it out there and let people know that it exists. And then we'll come back around to it when it's time to come back around to it. But I got some great response at the Comic-Con talking to Jaws people. They were excited about a shark comic. And I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like, I'm just kind of throwing crap against the wall and seeing what sticks. And that's, in a lot of cases, that is what creating is, because you never really know. I mean, you're just making it because you think it's cool. And then you just kind of hope that whoever sees it also thinks it's cool. So far, all the stuff that we've made has found some semblance of a fan base. Now, it doesn't always overlap. The guys that like Critter don't always like Penny for Your Soul. If you like Penny for Your Soul, you don't necessarily like, Kaiju Epic, whatever. But all of the books that I've written, all the stories that I've written, all the characters that I've created are all there because I like them. because I thought they were interesting, and that's where it has to start. And so putting those 2 books out is great, but Sand and Scales is like, that's been an itch for a long time. And I'm excited to dive into that for 2024.
So you've been doing this for quite some time, got a great, a whole bunch of titles underneath you and everything. We're looking at 2023 is going to be the 13-year anniversary. You got BD 13 is going to be coming up, and it's going to be a book. What are we looking at going to be inside of this book?
So BD 13, it's sort of just like a play on PG 13, right? So it's going to be an anthology book with at least 3. I know there's going to be 3. There may be a 4th story in it, and it's just going to be across Big Dog Inc. characters. I already know one of we're going to have other writers as well. I'm going to write one of the stories, and then the others will be written by other people. So I already have one writer already who has already figured out what he wants to do. I have another writer who is determining what they want to do. And then I'm writing one story, and then I might end up writing a second one, depending on, again, how big we want the book to be, and so on and so on and so on. But it'll be at least 3 stories, like a 40-page book minimum, and maybe a little bit bigger. So, but just something fun, to get some folks that have had interest in writing for me, and I've had other writers work for me before. It just hasn't been for a long time. So I decided to just make the offer, and 2 people have said yes. So that's where we are so far. So that'll be July. We'll have a nice, fun July anthology book in the middle of our 13-year anniversary. Yeah.
Nice. Now, I mean, of course, you're going to have a book. You have to have a cover. So we're going to go ahead and show an exclusive of a cover that's going to be available on here. So get ready for this one. This is how long ago did you get this thing?
Yesterday.
So extremely exclusive.
Super extremely exclusive. This was something, for those that know, what this is. For those that don't know, you're going to have to wait until next year. But this is Fabio Simao. He's the guy that's been doing the Ursa Minor book for me, and he had some gap time before we start on issue 3, and so I was like, well, let's just have you do the cover for this thing for next year, so we get it out of the way and it's just done, and we can get it colored and we can use it for marketing and so on. And he was like, yeah, cool. So I gave him the idea and the reference and stuff. He was like, cool. And like 2 hours later, I had the roughs. We made some edits, came back about an hour later. It was done. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, you're good. Go ahead. And then the next day, yesterday, I wake up 10 o'clock in the morning. It's done. It's in my inbox. I'm like, geez Louise. Okay, man. All right. I see how it is.
That is awesome.
So, yeah.
I mean, just see the beginnings of this. I'm excited to see what's going to be coming of this, and
it's ridiculous.
Sounds like it's going to be a fun book.
It's ridiculous. And it's 100% what, basically I was like, okay, it's our 13-year anniversary. What would 13-year-olds do and want, for comic books? So this is ridiculous is what this is. But it should be fun. Again, we'll have Princesses versus Zombies again next year. We're going to be bringing back Penny for Your Soul next year. We're going to do a hardcover edition, remaster the whole thing, the original volume 1, which has been out of print for years. We're going to do a hardcover edition for that. So we're going to bring Penny back. So it's going to be a really fun 2013. And then Goth Day for 2023. Goth Day is actually going to become Goth May. We're going to expand it from our 1-week campaign. Yes. And so it'll be Goth May. So it's probably actually, normally we start on the 22nd, which is Goth Day. And then we go a week. What we'll probably do is actually start early in May and then end it on Goth Day is sort of the plan. So,
gotcha.
So that's the rough plan there. And I've already worked out what Goth Day is going to be next year. I talked to CB Zane. He is game for the next story. So again, we will have that artistic consistency as we go into issue 3 as well.
One last big question that I want to ask for the future is there any talks with you and the original crew about doing another comic Unity?
Not right now. We all have, it's hard enough for me to get CB to do like work for me, like interior work. He does covers and stuff, but and that's one of the reasons why we haven't gotten to the crossover that we've talked about, which is the Cat Girl of Mars goes into the Suck. And he and I still talk about that book, but it's like we keep doing these other things and these other things. And then, of course, he does his own books. So he just put out Black Rabbit. He does Scorpiana, things like that. So it's really difficult to do that in any sort of a way. Like even when I did the thing with Jim Noble, the camp crossover thing, that wasn't even like Comic Unity because it was two separate campaigns. And we both basically just ran a campaign for a month like we normally would do. We just marketed it to link up, even though they weren't the same thing. So it's a difficult thing to really kind of do. And I won't say it'll never happen again, but it would have to be, the stars would have to align properly. I have so much of my own. I actually had an idea that, well, no, I won't even, it doesn't matter because I don't even know if it's feasible, but I have an idea of something that might work from a marketing sense, that might be even better than what we did with Comic Unity, which was awesome. I loved it. Didn't quite land the way that we had hoped. And I think there was some confusion in what it was and 3 creators. Like, I think there's a way to build it so it gets even better and better and better.
Right.
But there may be, in my mind, I think there's actually an alternative to that system that we did that might work better. And so I just kind of have to talk it out, flesh it out with some other creators and say, does this make sense to you? And then, we'll see if that plays. But
and then of course all you need is time, which
and then time.
Yeah. You don't have much of that, do you?
Not anymore. Not anymore.
You were planned out for quite some time on this and got a lot going on. So,
well, 2023 is planned, done, working. 2024 is planned, and not quite working yet, but will be soon. So, and then 2025, honestly, it's planned. It's already there. It just has to start, get into the gears of, actually being made, but the plan is already there all the way through 2025.
Lingerie Wars. Yes. I had to say it at least once during the show. No, I mean, you've got a lot going on with all this and everything. I want to go ahead. I'm fixing to give you the full screen on this one. Go ahead and let everybody know why they need to go over there and start following Big Dog Inc. Check out the Patreon, get on there, find out what's available over there. You get a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't talk about. It's kind of like Fight Club over there. They don't even talk about it if they're in the club. They kind of keep it all to themselves.
No, that's true. They just sit in there and talk to each other. And yeah, that's 100% true. Yeah.
I mean, it's an awesome community that's put together with, the dogs that are on the porch there. But let's go ahead and give the big dog the big screen here. So Tom, you got full screen on this one. Go ahead and let them know.
So, Big Dog Inc. Is always about, at the end of the day, fun books, fun characters, fun stories. We don't get really bogged down in a lot of political stuff or any of that kind of thing. Everything we do is, when you're done with the book, we want you to have a smile on your face or be shocked at the twist or, whatever it happens to be. But we want you to be happy with it. It's one of the reasons I do so much stuff. There's always something on the table that you're going to like. So if you are not following us on Facebook, that's kind of where we live, is Facebook. A lot of our stuff starts there and then kind of, sprinkles out to Instagram and Twitter and eventually TikTok. We have a TikTok. The TikTok exists. You guys are all welcome to go find it. There's nothing there yet because I don't know how to use TikTok, but there will eventually be a TikTok. And then of course, Patreon, which is where you guys get the backstage pass to everything that we do. The VIP patrons get a free 6-month variant cover every 6 months that you're there. You get a free variant cover. They get to help in the creation method. They've named some of our characters. They've gotten to vote on character names. There is a Blue Jay. This is where Blue Jay, our character Blue Jay, came from. She was a Patreon web comic of sorts that we had to stop because Carlos, who does the art, had to start doing all the Oz work. But he's now coming back to Blue Jay, so the Blue Jay exclusive web comic will be starting again. So that'll be part of your Patreon pledge, which is basically $5. You get all of the stuff, all the posts. If you do $10 at the VIP level, you get all the bonuses. But we do also do like special exclusive offers for Patreon folks as well. So they have gotten stuff that a lot of people have never even seen because it's just for them. So it's a lot of fun. And but ultimately, it's if you like to watch things being built, if you want to see the art come in, the lines come in, the colors come in, the logos come in, if you want to watch all of this stuff happen and have sort of the backstage pass to it all, that's what Patreon's for. But ultimately, Big Dog Ink comics are fun. It's some of it's all ages, some of it's a little more mature. You can figure that out for yourself. But at the end of the day, it's good art, it's good character, it's good stories, and it's all done by good people. So,
and it's a great community to be a part of, and just kind of, if you're financially able to get on there in the Patreon, great. No one's judging by any means, but go ahead and follow, with everything else that's on there. Tom's also got live sale shows on Wednesday, and is it still Sunday or is it Saturday?
Yeah, Wednesday and Sunday on Facebook. There's a group called the Comic Book Shopping Network. So it's basically like the Home Shopping Club, but it's comics and toys and whatever. And it's on, almost like 12, depending on the day, 12 to 18 hours a day. There's somebody selling. So I do shows on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights, selling Big Dog Ink stuff and just, diving into the comic book general world as well.
Nice. Well, I mean, everyone needs to go over there, check out, see what they've got over here in Big Dog Ink. There's a lot going on. Like you said, there's a lot of 10-year anniversaries that are happening all at the same time with a bunch of different labels that are out there. 13 years of Big Dog Ink happening next year. You don't want to miss out on that. And in the meantime, see what else is available. Go check out Patreon. Go see what's happening over there and see what you're able to go ahead and jump on over there and be a part of the community and see what's going on. But
yeah,
Tom,
and Kickstarter is where all our books are, guys.
yes.
We are not in Diamond. We are in retail stores, but only the ones that deal direct with us.
Mm-hmm.
So really the source of Big Dog Ink comics is Big Dog Ink. Kickstarters, websites, Comic-Cons, live sales, all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in what we do, just make sure you're following us somewhere and you will get the information of what we're doing.
Absolutely. Well, Tom, I certainly appreciate you being on here for a 13th time on the show. I don't think anyone else is going to be taking that title from you anytime soon. So we need to get you like a special badge or something to wear up here. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Start playing Here Comes the King, on the music or something like that. I don't know. But I certainly appreciate you being on here, taking the time to be on here and talk about Big Dog Ink and everything that's going on and all the excitement there. Everybody mark your calendars. The 18th, Princesses versus Zombies. You want to go ahead and jump on there for the first day. He's already said exclusive on there, Pretty in Pink. You don't want to miss out on that one.
Pretty in Pink foils, and then there'll be some just bonus freebies for day one. Anyone that's involved in day one, there'll be some extra stuff happening. So yeah.
Nice. Well, again, thank you for being here, Tom. I certainly appreciate it, and looking forward to getting you back for the next thing that you got coming up in Big Dog Ink. And keep us posted on everything, and we'll try to see what we can do about getting you some more viewers and backers over your way.
Yeah, I always appreciate the invite. It's always a good time.
All right. Thank you much, Tom. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right. So we had Tom Hutchison on here, Big Dog Ink. We had a great time talking to him and learning a little bit more about Big Dog Ink and what's going on with 13-year anniversary, 10-year anniversary on different titles that are out there. A ton of things that are on his plate that he's working on, that he's just staying busy with. I mean, there's never a dull moment over there. Now, I always have a closing statement on my shows. Tonight's not going to be any different. It's usually based on something the guest has said on here. Try to keep it on a one-word thing on there if possible, but it's basically 2 words on this one, is be present. What that means is, like he was saying earlier, it's in the business world, it's pertinent to go ahead and be a face somehow, some way. It doesn't always have to be business related, but it has to be something to show not only that you're alive, but that you care. I've said it time and time and time again, that especially with the indies, it's all about the passion that's put into there. So whenever you're putting that passion in there, you want to make sure that you check off every single box that's on there. Part of passion in the indies is actually taking care of the backers to the nth degree and potential backers. You always have to look at it that way, because you always want other people to look at everything, not the exact same circle all the same time. So anyone that's out there that's new to comics, anyone that's out there that's new to art, go ahead and give it a shot. Take a look at it and see. It is definitely worth your time on there. He is ever present. Trust me. If you see a day where he is not showing up on there in a post or something, reach out to him, make sure he's okay. If we need to call the emergency room and make sure they got a room set up for him, we'll do that. But he's pretty much on there every day with some kind of post. But presence, go ahead and keep it up there. So again, thank you for being here. We certainly appreciate it. We've had a great time here, and we're looking forward to the next one. So until then, I don't have my hat this time, so I'll just take my horn and say, keep it indie, y'all.
Sockets, flip the switch and watch them run. Take it back, the crowd. I'm all dressed up and naked. I see what's mine and take it. Oh yeah, the crowd. So close I can taste it. I see what's mine.